Hello, my name is Zoe, and today I'm going to be talking about why you should go meat-free at least one day a week. 6 to 7 years. Imagine what you could accomplish in 6 to 7 years. You could graduate college, buy a house, get married, watch your children grow up. A 2017 study done at the Loma Linda University in California showed that vegetarians tended to live 6 to 7 years longer than people who eat meat. Now, if you don't want to make such a radical change in your life, you can get a lot of these same benefits by just giving up meat once a week. I've been vegetarian since I was 15, and since then I've lost about 60 pounds, and I felt better than ever. Today, I will be talking about the environmental reasons, the health reasons, and the ethical reasons you should give up meat once a week. So to start, the health reasons. Animal fats have been linked to a variety of diseases, such as heart disease, rheumatoid arthritis, or diabetes. High cholesterol has also been linked to animal products. If something's truly vegan, it will have no cholesterol in it. 13 of the 15 top producers of cholesterol have been linked to animal proteins. Animal sources have also been linked to causing cancer, such as prostate cancer. Vegans and vegetarians tend to eat more legumes, vegetables, just have a bunch more fiber in their diet, which has been proven to help reduce your chance of getting cancer. Finally, vegans and vegetarians tend to have a lower BMI and are less likely to be obese than people who eat meat. If you give up meat just one day a week, you can reduce your caloric intake for that week by almost 700 calories. So now that we know why giving up meat one day a week can be good for us, let's talk about how it can be good for the environment. So everyone knows that deforestation is bad. It can lead to climate change, soil erosion, flooding, all that great stuff. However, 4/5 of all deforestation that occurs is done to create land for cattle to graze on. Not only will there be less trees to take the CO2 out of the air, but cattle produce a ton of methane gas, which is 23 times worse than CO2 for the environment. It traps an enormous amount of heat in the atmosphere. Secondly, we use a ton of our farmland to produce cattle and dairy products. A study done by the journal Science showed that 83% of farmland is used to produce cattle and dairy products, and it only attributes to 18% of the calories that we actually consume. If we use that farmland to produce crops for people who needed it, there'd be less people in the world who are hungry. In fact, just the grain we use to feed this cattle, it could feed up to 800 million people a year. Finally, the water we use for cattle is an incredible amount. There's a limited amount of fresh, clean water in the world that we have to use. A study done by NASA showed in 2015 that we're reducing and depleting these water resources at a extra normal rate. If 3 out of 10 people don't have access to clean water, and yet we use 1/3 of our clean water that we do have for our cattle. Personally, I think that we should use that water for people who need it, and not so that I can enjoy a burger every once in a while. So now that we've talked about how eating meat can affect the environment, let's talk about how it actually affects animals. And I apologize for these photos. I tried to find some that weren't super disturbing. First of all, if you eat meat, you're killing babies. Chickens are slaughtered after being alive for only 42 days. That's when they've determined that they've grown enough to be able to be eaten. Even if you don't eat meat, if you just eat eggs and dairy, male chicks that are born in the laying industry are immediately killed. They're deemed that they have no use, and so they're either thrown out or murdered. If you drink milk, the cows have to get pregnant to produce the milk. If they have a girl cow, that's great. They'll just use that cow to produce more milk. But if they have a boy cow, the cow is sent away to the veal industry, where they kill the baby cows. That's what veal is. or to a cattle farm where the cow will maybe live for a couple months till it gets big enough to be killed for beef as well. Factory farming conditions are horrible as well. Animals are piled on top of each other. They have poor air quality inside these factory farms. There's usually dim lighting. There's no space. It's cramped. They can't move around very much, and they stand in their own feces. And oftentimes animals will die and just be left there. Finally, when they are in these factory farm settings, we tend to mutilate the animals. Chickens will get anxious and peck each other or peck themselves when they're trapped in cramped spaces, so they chop their beaks off with no anesthetic. Pigs are castrated, cattle are castrated with no anesthetic to make them less violent. Pigs have their tails chopped off because, again, in these cramped settings, they get anxious and they'll tend to chew on each other's tails. So they're chopped off when they're babies. So there's many reasons why you should give up meat just one day a week. You can make a huge impact. Environmental reasons, health reasons, and most importantly to me, I believe, ethical reasons. And a small sacrifice can make a big impact.